Hey everyone, and welcome to another Star Wars Games update, where we bring you all of the latest and greatest in Star Wars gaming news. So after a bit of a wait, last night we got our first proper look at Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And of course I'm talking about gameplay-wise, because it was without a doubt a noticeable and, well, much needed step up over Jedi Fallen Order. Aside from this, we also got some details regarding the story and confirmation on when we'll be able to get our hands on it. But first things first, Jedi Survivor actually takes place 5 years after the events of Jedi Fallen Order. And fittingly, the gameplay trailer shows us an older and more rugged Cal Kestis, who's now a Jedi Knight. However, based on what we can see, Cal seems to be venturing around the galaxy himself this time rather than within a team like in Fallen Order, as we don't see the likes of Grease or Merrin anywhere. And when we do see Cere in the trailer, then it looks like she's situated in some kind of new Jedi Order headquarters that Cal and her have created, I'm assuming. So if that's the case, then it would not surprise me at all for this to be the new in-game hub for Jedi Survivor. You know, where we get to choose which planet to fly to, heal up, trigger different game events, and so on. I'd imagine Merrin could also be in this hidden Jedi HQ somewhere there, but I do find it strange that Grease no longer would want to pilot the Stinger Mantis, which I'm sure there will be a good explanation for this. But like in Jedi Fallen Order, we'll be able to journey across to new planets in the galaxy, each of them again with their own unique biomes and enemies. And having fresh new gear, skills, and abilities at our disposal to help us survive these worlds will no doubt liven things up. Because, for one thing, Cal will now be able to wield 2 lightsabers at once, which should definitely be good news for all of those Ahsoka fans who want to mimic her fight style in this game. In addition to this, Cal will also have an ascension cable for vertical traversal and the ability to tame and ride creatures, which could very much be a reference to Ezra Bridger's ability to force connect with wild animals. And aside from this, other goodies like being able to have a cross-bladed lightsaber a la Kylo Ren, to the enemy variety having been improved, looks very cool, allowing us to now fight Clone Wars era B1 battle droids, B2s, Magna Guards, and even the BX series commando droids, which I really was not expecting to see here. I'd imagine that either of these droids work for different mercenary groups or could be some of the separatist remnants left over, because as we know, they're very unlikely to be Imperial owned. The Empire have their own droids for that. Like for example, it's here where we'll be able to take on the Imperial DT series sentry droids that were originally introduced in Rebels. So that's pretty sweet, I'd say. Now, the trailer for the next entry in Respawn's Dark Souls-inspired series closed with a release date, which sees Jedi Survivor arriving on March 17th. Which shouldn't come as a huge surprise, as general leaks beforehand had pointed to a March date anyway. But of course, it's always nice to see a release date cemented. Overall, it goes without saying that Jedi Survivor is looking right now to be a great improvement over the first game with all of the new visual and gameplay additions. But one thing that I myself am very curious about is the story, as based on what we've seen thus far, it seems that Cal will be dealing far less of the Empire this time around, and more so with other factions, especially those working with mercenaries and bounty hunters. And if I saw correctly, it even looks like some of these bounty hunters will be wielding lightsabers, which is very interesting. While I don't of course see them using, actual force powers on us, I do think this is simply Respawn's way of giving us more lightsaber fights throughout the game, rather than say having to rely on Inquisitor boss battles like they did before. So for sure, we've got something real good to look forward to next year in March. And considering it's also coming out the same year that EA's 10-year exclusivity agreement with Disney for the Star Wars license runs out, then that's even more good news, as we'll soon afterwards be seeing info and maybe teasers about other non-EA Star Wars games start coming out one after another. And speaking about non-EA Star Wars games, it seems we may be soon getting one, but more so it being a retro release. And well, not the type that you'd imagine it to be either. Because as reported by VGC last week, the PS Plus Classics library is seemingly set to receive a surprising iteration of the original Battlefront 2. And it's the PSP version we're talking about here. Yeah, that's the surprising part right there, as this news came after a temporarily active PlayStation Store page listed it. And while since then that page has been taken down, it specifically listed the game as the portable version, noting that it originally released on the PSP. Now, it should be mentioned that this page also listed several enhanced features, including up-rendering, rewind, quick save, and custom video filters. So this is not going to be a straight-up lazy copy and pasted port, but it looks like they're actually adding stuff to the game to improve the player experience, which is kinda needed if you're gonna play a PSP game on a PlayStation 5, for example. Now, it goes without saying that releasing the PSP version of Battlefront 2 for the PlayStation 4 and 5 is for sure an oddball move, as it has to be said that the PSP version of Battlefront 2 did contain significant cuts of features and modes from the PC and the console releases of the game. So why Lucasfilm Games would even want to re-release this is a big question mark in my opinion. Regardless, despite this leak, no official announcement has yet been made, and well, it could also be possible that this was only a store error made by Sony, too, for all we know. But if it does end up being true, then what can I say? This could for sure be something super nostalgic for all the original Battlefront 2 PSP players. And hey, having more Star Wars games is never a bad thing either. And that will do it for this Star Wars Games update. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but to keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.